This is getting close, and maybe in time. And it did top Cafe World and Mafia Wars, two of my own favorites. That I'm now like level 500 something in Mafia Wars. It's addictive. So this is where a lot of social media is going. These mobile social networking apps, I've been spending a lot of time with them, and for better or worse, keep hearing about more of them. So, Foursquare, we mentioned the badges. This is Whirl, where it's really great for telling stories. They've got a good penetration among moms and sharing like photos and updates where you are. Looped was sort of like one of the original mobile social networks. I don't think it's as exciting right now, but still, they've got a lot of legacy users there. Cause World does an interesting job where you check into places and earn karma points, and then can donate those to causes like the Red Cross for Haiti, or like various hunger-related causes or others, and so they're not as much of like seeing where your friends are, but then it's very social because you're then often sharing what you're doing on there, and I'm seeing a lot of these come up in my Facebook friend status. My Town is one of the largest, and I think the largest of all those except Yelp, where they just report over 800,000 users. It's a little bit more of a game. You're leveling up places, and so you keep earning coins and getting properties. These are all my buildings out there that I keep leveling, at least for a while. At some point, it's like, what am I doing? And then if any of you here is actually doing things like nightlife in New York City or elsewhere, then you might like Buzzed. So if you go to these places like Tonic East that keep me up all night, because it's right below my apartment, and then I can yell at you. But beyond that, it's a little bit more of like checking into the cooler restaurants and venues, and not as much like when you're going to our favorite neighborhood. Our neighborhood convenience store, Dwayne Reed, places like, not as much for that. Go Walla is sort of like the new, like the kind of cool, based in Austin, right? Another bit of Texas pride here. And they're also one of my favorites in terms of seeing, in terms of like you check in, you earn these virtual goods, and then you can, like 10 people can become a founder. It's not just one mayor, so it's a little more collective. You see the 10 people who've checked in the most, and then Yelp, which is like the 800-pound gorilla there. They have that new little check-in button on the bottom of locations in the newest version of at least their iPhone app. I'm not sure it's quite as endemic for their app as something like Foursquare's, where it's all about check-ins. Their founder Dennis Crowley said they want to own check-ins, and maybe they will, but Yelp has this huge advantage of having like just about everyone with an iPhone is using Yelp, so they've got that user base there. Social metrics, also a big thing to watch this year. So they're definitely maturing and trying. We talked a little bit about these weighted scorecards. So this is just another example. I won't go too much into detail. One of the things I really wanted to do before coming here was like delete just about as much text as I could. So that's why I'm not spending too much time on any slide that has text built into the image. But there are other ways where metrics are trying to come up. Dell's done an interesting job trying to report on how much they're actually earning through social media, at least through their Dell outlet. So they went from 1 million to 3 million to 6.5 million. This was December '09. It's important to add a little perspective here. So this is the 6.5 million. This is their 2009 revenue. Now, social media, of course, plays a bigger impact than they're tracking directly with these, URL streams. So I don't want to dismiss it, and I give Dell a lot of credit for being, I think, the only one to so proactively report on their sales data and be very transparent about that. Just as far as like how much it's changing their business, it is in ways that are less tangible than that $6.5 million number. So earned, owned, and paid media. These are some of the big buzzwords this year, and I thought of spending a little more time defining them, but didn't want to keep it till noon. And so, earned media is really like those conversations that are happening, those blog posts that are coming up, all these tweets. It's really about earned media. Paid media is the stuff you buy. It's whether it's a Facebook ad or a TV spot. And then owned media are things like your website, your own experiences there that you have to work with. Dr. Pepper Museum, my wife's a Dallas native, so that's why I bring up a disproportionate number of Texas references here. So when I was at the Dr. Pepper Museum in Waco, and really just sort of like side of the road between Dallas and Austin, you wouldn't think that this is a social media hotspot. Is that fair to say? Okay, so I don't want to knock Waco, but the Dr. Pepper Museum there, the Dr. Pepper Museum and the Free Enterprise Institute, like really kind of weird place talking about capitalism. And it's an experience if you're ever in the area. So when I went last spring, they had all these signs up, and apparently they just put them up because they told me I was the first one to even put this stuff on Flickr and everywhere. And I literally came the weekend that they did this. And so they put these twit pic photo ops. I don't even remember what the photo ops were supposed to be like that, but I had to take a picture of the twit pic part. So I was using their owned media, their physical location, and creating this earned media from it, where I just keep making my wife take pictures of me with Twitter signs, not even of the cool stuff in the museum. Sprinkles. Another brand that I've been to in both, I've been to in the Bay Area, Los Angeles. I've been there many times in Dallas, and have waited on those lines endlessly because I still think, not to knock New York too much, but they're better than any cupcakes we have here. And they, I know, oh, that's it, I should just leave now. I should have said that was the bathroom break right before, told everyone to leave, and then knock my own city. But really, Magnolia or Sugar Sweet Sign, come on, it's like lumps of butter on a muffin. So, okay, so not all haters here, thank you. We could discuss this after, but Sprinkles does, I will say they do a better job marketing than any New York cupcake brand too. When they offer these like kind of exclusive free cupcakes to people who whisper some code word, it changes every day. And so some of these will do on a national level. Sometimes it'll just be like, whisper Romo in the Dallas store, and you get a football themed cupcake. And of course that was before they were knocked out, which as a Giants fan I don't mind too much. But so they said things like that, like when they had a local power outage, they even did this on a very local level, and a lot of them are national. But beyond everyone who's going there and like the few hundred free cupcakes that they're giving out thanks to this, they're getting so many people who are responding to them, liking their posts, sharing this buzz, talking about them, and doing such a great job using their own assets to spread that earned media. Could they amplify this even more with paid media? Sure. Right now they don't need to, but maybe in time that'll be part of it as well. I've got to credit Ian Schaefer with this at the recent Sucksores event for bringing this one up. But here was a brand using their owned media and their paid media. So here's their team. They were buying this billboard there and thinking, we're going to integrate the Twitter feed. Yeah, so I put this out of my memory until Henry Copeland at HC, he ran this Sucksores event for the worst of social media, and this was the winner. Yeah, it's not even worth trying to see who took second place, because this is no matter what Steve Hall from Ad Rants put up there, this is going to take the cake. Whenever you mention gang rape, it's probably going to win for the worst of something. And another tip out there. So thank you, Ian, for a memorable example this morning.